Do you know what the price of oil is today? I don't know where it's going. Shetty. The Israeli prime. Before I was a the Israeli prime minister is about to be. The Israeli.
Okay, see, hey Dola, one thing I've never understood,
Prime Minister Shetty. The Luciferians cast a
Nah, it's way too comfortable, nigga.
Okay, because your love is aggressive, your love is violent, your love lacks patience, your love is rude. I'm already forgiving you, but you're drunk in this.
Last game, I swear. Open.
His neutrality has caused more harm than him actually engaging and trying to do better. So I think that's kind of what Black Flag was going for. Maybe that, again, because of current events, maybe that might make me look at the game a little bit different and be like, okay, I kind of mess with this. But again, I haven't actually played it to see if the writing's going to be that good, because it is Ubisoft, and this was a weird part where Ubisoft kind of lost their writing chops. So we'll see what happens, but I want to play it. I probably will give it a shot. So I could give my opinion on it when it comes out for the podcast, when Ubisoft slides me a code.
Yeah.
So.
Also, I'm gonna be super woke too. Another reason I wasn't a big fan of that game. I'm probably about to piss hella people off.
I know what you're gonna say.
I find it very funny that Ubisoft, and they do this every time a new Assassin's Creed game comes out. We've spent 20 years developing and recreating and restructuring and researching this world, but when they
You're
get
made
to
of
the
a
game,
diverse team of people from different things.
but when they got to the game about the Caribbean, if you haven't played it, they don't even touch on the slavery shit. The entire GDP of the Caribbean islands was based off of fucking sugarcane and slavery and shit. There's a couple missions where like you end up at a plantation and you see some black people working, but that's about as far as there's no commentary on it. There's no mention of it. Now eventually
Freedom Cry was created. That was
eventually they did come with the DLC for Freedom Cry, but I'm like, it shouldn't have been.
They realized that was a
bad fuck up, bro. It's like it didn't exist. So I was like,
Well, I am curious then when it comes to this remake, if they're actually going to insert that now, or is it too hot now?
They should just put it in the game somehow. If you want to be historically accurate, like I just thought that was a little weird and kind of whitewashed. And then I brought it up on stream, and somebody in the chat was like, "Well, you got to remember, Ubisoft's a French company who owned majority of those islands." I was like,
French.
Yeah.
Oh, French.
I was like,
French.
I said, "You're right. We're not getting no Haitian Revolution mission. You're right."
They don't want to talk about Haiti. They don't want to talk about that.
I was like, "That's the French version of what they be doing over here in America." I was like, "That's valid. That's valid." But yeah, that's coming July 6th. If I get a free code, I'll check it out. But like, I wouldn't pay $70 for it. I'm with you on that ethos.
Yeah. So yeah, it's yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll see. I'll check it out. So I guess I'll give my impression on it once I get a key.
Some interesting news coming out of the Sony camp. Mr. Yoshida, probably the most famous person from the PlayStation side. Really responsible, the architect behind a lot of things at PlayStation. He was given a speech recently where he revealed why he was fired. And here are some quotes from it by Jim Ryan. He said, "I helped Sony Santa Monica make God of War, Naughty Dog make Uncharted, The Last of Us, and Sucker Punch make the beautiful Ghost of Tsushima. And Ghost of Tsushima was one of the last games that I worked on as a president of the Worldwide Studios. But in 2019, after 11 years leading the first-party development, I was fired from my role. Jim Ryan wanted to remove me from first party because I didn't listen to him," he said jovially, happily, prompting laughter from the audience. "He asked to do some ridiculous things, and I said no." And other reports are claiming that those ridiculous things is that they wanted like 12 live service games over the span of like X amount of years. And he was like, "No, I want to make more of the games, basically, you know, what they're known for, the God of Wars, the Ghost of Tsushima type of stuff like that." And right now he's working on indie games. Like he's like a consultant. He has his own company now. And he consults for indie games for like PlayStation and stuff like that. Do we believe his story? Do we believe that the West pushed him out because he wouldn't do more live service?
Of course, yeah. I mean, we talked about this before. This is like the second time, because this man has been going on like a podcast tour. I don't know if people have been peeping, but he letting the chopper fly now. He like, "Hey, I'm out of here, so I'm just about to start spilling the beans." So yeah, now he's already mentioned this. I'm actually quite surprised that like this is popping back up, but it's because he said it on another podcast that I guess people are picking up the story again. So yeah, no, I 100%. I don't think that he's capping on this, especially with, you know, what we recently seen with Sony, the Concord, the whole Blue Point situation. Yeah, Sony is, like I said, people need to really start changing their tune about Sony. We got another story coming up that we're literally about to talk about. Yeah, Sony has not been who you thought they were. Again, Microsoft, with some of the moves that they made publicly in the past, it had people on their ass, and Sony was like, "Oh, you know, they could do no wrong." But no, Sony has been quietly doing a lot of shady stuff, and a lot of this stuff is coming to light, you know, years later. So I totally, you know, agree, and I do believe that Yoshida did get pushed out because he stood on business. He didn't want to put out those live service games, and rightfully so, because you see so far they aren't working for Sony. And I don't think that if Yoshida was forced to do that, or if he just agreed to do that, I don't think he could have made the situation really any better in this, especially in this climate that we're going through right now. Sony has a footprint, and they are good at making those third-person cinematic adventure games. Them making live service games so far has not panned out how they wanted to. You know, it's the difference between what you want and what actually works for you. In the realistic situation of it is the live service games just aren't really working for Sony. They don't really have the personnel for it. they're trying to get people who never worked on live service games to work on these live service games, and none of it is sticking right now. Like, I think this only just needs to stick to what they're good at doing. And again, I don't think that Yoshida, if he would have stayed there doing their project and working on those live service, 12 is a lot, man. Like, I don't think people realize, like, we talk about like 1 or 2, but 12, like, he was just like, hey, just knock out 12. Like,
it's 4 of us on the podcast. How the fuck will we all play live if there's 12 live service games? How are we all gonna review that?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. So like I said, I want people to really like hone on how many that he said that Jim Ryan wanted him to make. So for Yoshida to be like, hey, all right, like, I'm not doing that, and then get, relegated. I wouldn't say, downgraded, but relegated to working on indie games, and he still enjoyed it, but worked on it for 5 years and then dipped out last year. Like, that's a valiant effort. But yeah, I don't like Sony's business practices as of late, and I think that more people need to be like really holding Sony's feet to the fire, because they have not been making some good business decisions, and they keep getting grace because they gonna give you Spider-Man, they gonna give you Wolverine, they gonna give you Ghost of Yotai, they gonna like. Just because there's these iconic franchises that we know and love, they're just like, oh, just give me the games, and I'm just going to forget about or just not research anything else that they've been doing. Sony is not your friend.
Yeah, I think as much as we like to shit on Nintendo, like, I understand why they protect their IPs and they're so strict about what they do and don't do when it comes to their products. Because, like, I'd argue this is a result of letting the West too much in on what you're doing. And they're just too hyper focused on making money, to the point where, like, even in this article too, I forgot to bring this one up, but it's the same thing. But Yoshida was also wondering how Sony is going to maintain their investment in first party games without them releasing on PC. Now, a couple of years ago, Sony was talking about how much money they were making on PC. They love it. PC gamers are supporting us. But then the moment Xbox started struggling before Asha took over, then they said, oh, we're taking the games off of PC. They're not selling. But then you have Yoshida in the same speech saying, how are they going to maintain that between the live service games as well as the investment in these AAA games? He's arguing that Sony needs PC. I just love when someone unintentionally backs up the stuff that we've been saying. For those who fell for the propaganda and genuinely believed that the reason Sony took their games off PC is because it wasn't selling, all you had to do was look at the fucking Steam charts. Anytime a Sony game would come to Steam, it was always the top selling game that year. And he's basically backing it up like, nah, the PC motherfuckers was buying games. And now he's sitting here like, yo, what are y'all doing pulling these games out of here?
Come on, Steam DB watchers, waking up. You gotta look at the charts, nigga. Look at the fucking charts.
Sony is evil. It's propaganda, bro. And y'all are falling for it, man. And you know the worst part is, too, in that other article, he mentioned how on his way out, he kind of wanted to focus on more indie games. That's why he launched his own consulting company for indie games. But Sony wasn't trying to hear that shit. So not only was they not trying to hear it for the AAA, over-the-shoulder action games they known for, they wasn't trying to hear it for the indie games. They only want live service games, and he's calling the cap on the PC shit. What's your thoughts on all this, Ethos?
Yeah, I mean, I none of this shocks me. I mean, if you look at the time, it was like, who was in charge when the order came down to start making a bunch of these live service games? This isn't like, I don't feel like this is even like a big shocker. It's like, and to find, I think it was more shocking that Yoshida got fired. Yeah, that he got, well, he said retired, but basically it sounds like, yeah, he was fired because he wasn't listening to what Ryan was saying, which is like, it seems like Yoshida was probably like one of the more grounded voices perhaps in the room when they were making some of these high-end decisions. And he had the experience, like he was working, and then they threw him basically on an island. They basically threw him into that indie section, said, threw him away from the AAA area and said, oh, you're just going to work with our indie games, which I kind of feel like is kind of like insult, like almost like a slur. It's like insulting, like, I'll throw him to the indie side, which he still did.
It's kind of like, you know the story of Napoleon? Like what happened later in his life? No, Napoleon Bonaparte. Like at the end of his life, when they gave him his own little island to play. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
They were terrified of him. Yeah, later on, you're just like, yeah, leave him alone. I kind of see it as that too. Like it's just, it doesn't really shock me at all. And is Jim Ryan still in charge? I don't even remember who is even in charge at Sony right now.
That's a good question, man.
So much has happened in the past couple of years. I don't even know who's in charge. Is it Jim Ryan? I thought left, right?
They really don't have a face of PlayStation.
'Cause I thought
feel like.
Kearney or whatever it was in charge, right?
It says Google
Kearney?
could be wrong, but it says of April 2025, Hideo Nishio is the president and CEO of Sony Interactive. I don't know that person.
Yeah, so it ain't Jim Ryan.
Well, who's the president of okay? So
Sony
who took
America?
over? Just search who took over Jim Ryan's position? That's what I'm curious. Is Jim Ryan still in charge of whatever? I don't know what position he's in or what he was in.
Still at Sony. Let's see. No, Jim Ryan is no longer there. He left March 2024.
Okay, so yeah, he retired. So yeah.
And
So Herman Holst and Nishino.
That's how I remember. I know Hertz from Guerrilla Games, I think, and maybe Kearney or something, like the guy who was like the architect of the PlayStation.
So we're not bugging. I feel like Sony lacks like a rock star right now, like somebody who's like the face of the company.
That's what I was saying for the longest, because like who was Yoshino was that person in the Sony side, and that's why I feel like Microsoft has always like done better than Sony yet, because we can point to the people like Major Nelson and Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond, like they were forward facing people and we always seen them, but for Sony we didn't really see those people or resonate with those people at the head of there. So yeah, it's always been like that for a while.
Yeah, freaking don't mess up the formula. If you got something that's working, I think you should probably stick with that. You can have like 1 or 2 live service games, but the thing is, you can't put those out every year. I don't understand why you can't put out like one fire live service game like every 5 years. Like run it down, then launch a new one. But like launching 11 or 12 over the next 5 years, it just financially doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense from a time standpoint. Nobody has the money or the time to even be playing all these games, but it makes you wonder, do these people even play games, you know? It makes you wonder.
No. Going back to the PC point before we move on, like I said, even when we had this conversation about Sony, potentially pulling out of putting games on Steam, I call cap on that because, again, like, go back to the point of, like, every time y'all announce a game that comes on PC, it's always at the top of the chart. So I'm like, y'all aren't not making any money. Y'all are definitely making money. And in the case of Yoshiro and how he said what he said, this made it seem like whenever Sony releases one of their exclusives on Steam, it's like extra money. It's bonus money. So it's not like you aren't making a profit just putting the game out on PlayStation, because obviously you're going to make your money. People love these games. So you're going to make your money. You're going to make buku money. But you taking 2 to 5 years, however long, and you still releasing it on Steam. I told y'all about the people like shout out to DX. He doesn't own the PlayStation. He said, like, I don't want to own a console. I will wait to play Last of Us. I will wait to play some of these games. And there are other people who are purely PC gamers who, whenever these games come out, like, if you give them a chance, they're going to buy them. Like, I don't think that people who primarily play on PC or Steam are fickle and they're like, hey, I just have no interest in these type of games. They will play them. They just don't want to get a console to do it. And it could be really that simple. So they do play these games. So, yes, it's extra money. But for Yoshiro to be like, hey, I don't know if they're going to be sustainable. Now that's a different conversation. That's kind of a red flag to me, because again, like, I wonder how much money is going to potentially be lost now with them not putting these games on PC. Because like I said, I think it's extra money at this case, but how much are they trying to invest in other games, especially if they're trying to do all these live service games? Because as you can see, Concord was a huge loss. Like, Sony has been taking a good number of losses. So they're not going to be bankrupt. I don't want anyone thinking that. But again, it just makes me wonder, if you were simply making extra money by putting games on PC, then what are we doing, trying to reverse that? Because it's not like y'all weren't making anything. Y'all really try to make it seem like y'all were making pennies putting these games on PC, when I call cap on it. I don't think that was the case.
Yeah, especially because Sony's not like Microsoft in a sense where, like, I don't think Sony has like a definitive product. They make good products, right? Like, a matter of fact, I'm using a Sony camera right here. I mean, they got TVs, they got consoles and stuff like that, but like Microsoft has a definitive product in Windows where, like, they don't ever have to really worry about money. I don't think Sony has that. So it's like, I would think you would be looking for extra revenue in every place possible for you to just be giving up PC like that so easily. But hey, maybe they know something that we don't. Only time will tell. What I do know is this is a very interesting story that I feel like I didn't really see too many mainstream media sites pick up. I found this one out from Twitter, and it was actually real. Several people tweeted out that PlayStation quietly rolled out DRM for the 4 and the 5. So they basically confirmed a 15-year-old rumor. If you guys remember, I believe it was
Yeah.
Was it like 15 years? Something like that, 10 plus years ago. E3 2014, I believe. Was that the year that they announced the PS4 and the Xbox One? And Xbox One, Microsoft went on stage and they announced that, hey, for the Xbox One, in order to play our games, you're going to have to always be online, and we're going to check your internet connection like every 30 seconds to make sure that your games are real and verify it, right? People was not fucking with that. Now, if you don't know that story, the rumor is apparently Sony was going to do the same exact thing, but Microsoft got so much backlash from that. The very last second, they switched it up and they decided to get rid of the DRM in the PS4, and the PS4 just took off. Didn't help that Microsoft was talking about TV and all this other dumb shit either, but that was like the final nail in the coffin. Well, today's story confirms that's probably true. PlayStation has rolled out DRM for the 4 and the 5, requiring online check-ins every 30 days. Newly purchased digital games now need to connect to the PlayStation Network every 30 days to verify the license. If the console stays offline for more than 30 days, the game may stop working until the internet connection is made. And then they have screenshots too. If you go into your settings, it'll show you with like the actual timer of when it's going to validate the next time. So it's like on this picture right here, it says 20 days left before we verify your copy again. I don't think personally this is going to be a big deal for people with PS5s, but people with PS4s they're probably more inclined to get their internet cut off. What you guys think?
This one is interesting because I always wonder, like, what is the benefit of this? Like, why would Sony do this? Let me go back to, hey, Sony ain't your friend, man. Sony been doing some evil stuff. Why now? Why in 2026 you would do this?
Because they're winning, Jay. They're winning.
Man, that's crazy, bro. Like I said, people get mad at this, but I don't think people are going to get mad enough to be like, hey, I'm going to boycott Sony or anything like that. They're just going to be like, hey, whatever, man, it's Sony. So they just go they're like, all right, give me Wolverine at the end of the year and I'm going to be happy. Like, it's going to be rinse and repeat with them. Sony can do no wrong in these niggas' eyes. I don't understand.
The Sony ponies are the MAGAs of video games. Like, maybe not that level extreme, but damn near close, where it's like they can just do nothing wrong. Doesn't matter how many things we show them. It's like, hey, I just find it very funny. The moment Xbox kind of took a step back, that's when they started turning up the fuckery. I am curious of what's their end game with this. Is it going to get worse? How well is this technology tested too? Because this could also potentially add new issues, right? We don't know if this tech works. This is their first time doing this shit. We're going to know in 30 days. Because it'd be fucking funny if 30 days from now, a bunch of people just tweet out, hey, y'all, I can't play my God of War. What the fuck? My internet's connected. Da, 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 da. Like, they just kind of quietly put it out. Do you have any thoughts on it, Ethos?
I'm trying to find the sourcing on this. I got like multiple confirmed. Did they say this is going to be on the 5 or is this like a PS4?
It's 4 and the 5. It's being reported by Vice, Gaming Bible, MP First, Twisted Voxel, a bunch of websites I know. It's not just on Twitter. I just looked it up.
Yeah, I see people talking about they took the CMOS, which is the the battery inside of the thing to like determine the motherboard will determine what time it is, or did they,
yeah.
Instead that they if the battery dies, then all digital games within the timer become unplayable.
Ooh, yeah. This creates a preservation issue too.
This is
this
this is alarm bells. This is very bad.
It makes your PS5 and your 4 a ticking time bomb the moment it dies. Can I
go into real evil?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about price gouging. Let's talk about if you control the digital market and then you can dynamically change the value and the pricing of games based off of certain factors. They'll be like, oh, it's harder now this month, so we're gonna have to raise the prices of our digital games, and they can just do that on a whim. Yeah, this is bad. What else am I supposed to say? There's no positive thing about this. This is just straight up bad. This is literally what Xbox was. What you said was Xbox was going to do two generations ago. What they were going to do with the Xbox One, like the whole idea of like you check in with the game, or you have to check in every 30 days with the console, like online. If you don't, then you can get locked out. This is just doing this for digital games. This is. Oh man, yeah, this is bad.
Like, think of it like this is annoying too, because like think of it in a situation where like I don't know, your internet goes out because sometimes, especially if you got Spectrum, that shit is ass. Like or Comcast, it just randomly goes out and you can't get somebody out to fix it for like a week. But you got a PS5, Now you can't even use your fucking PS5, bro.
It's so goddamn.
I guess the argument is like, oh,
Why
well,
was-
how is somebody
why
gonna not
was
have
not
internet
getting
for
my-
30 days
Why was it
or something like that? And I know that was the
fucking
argument
Rural
back then.
America, I
People,
mean?
yeah,
Oh.
but people argued inside like, well, okay, what about soldiers who are overseas and they couldn't connect to the internet or something like that with their consoles when they were
Where is
overseas,
this
so they would have to be playing on offline mode to play some games, and they told them they wouldn't be able to. I remember that was the argument way back. I don't know how true that is now with like satellite and all that sort of stuff, but I know that was the argument back then.
What is wrong? With
Like, I don't know. This is just bad.
It doesn't do anything positive for the consumer. That's what I'm trying to wrap my brain around. This is like
I get the idea of people saying, well, even if you lose it for 30 days, if you just plug the thing back into the internet, don't you just get the license back? Which I'm assuming, like, yeah, you would. But like, I feel like this is just that's a bad precedent in general. I just don't like this. It's kind of making me.
it takes away from the argument that console is plug and play. I could argue it's no longer plug and play. You have to always have the internet connection in order to be online. You can't just plug it in the wall and play it anymore.
Yeah, it's been like that for years, but console people don't want to admit that. They're like, "Oh, you PC people, we're trying to tell y'all, it ain't just put the disc in and play the game anymore."
What happens with retro? So like, what happens like when we go like 3 generations in the future? Kind of like what happened with like the Nintendo store. Because remember that was the whole thing with Nintendo. Like once the Nintendo store went offline on the 3DS, you couldn't get access to any of those digital games. So someone had to go and buy them and buy them. Like imagine if this system and then they turn off the store, they change it and it doesn't work anymore. Does your PS5 just become a brick?
Yes, yeah, but essentially, like this is going to be really bad. That's why game preservation, they're fighting over this in the UK. This really needs to be a bigger story because we're really not going to be able to play anything retro like in the next 5-10 years that they continue with this. Yeah, it's bad.
Unfortunate. And it's funny because I feel like the past week PlayStation in terms of news stories had a rough week, but on the opposite end of the spectrum, finally, because I feel like it's mostly been negative. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I feel like Xbox had a more positive week. Xbox's CEO Asha announced that the Game Pass Ultimate will drop from $29.99 to $22.99 per month, effective immediately. Meaning, if your next bill is on the first, the price will be dropped, which is 30%, by the way. Because I've seen some people complaining. I'm like, that's 30%. The very next bill will be cheaper. The only trade-off is Call of Duty will no longer be a day one release on the Game Pass. I don't really see too many people bitching about it. I personally don't care because Call of Duty sucks right now anyway. But how are we feeling about this price drop? Matter of fact, Jay, you said you'd be shocked if they did it, so you ended up being wrong. They did it.
I did. I'm happy to say I'm wrong, man. I never thought that I would see this coming. Like nobody has ever done this, and this is literally like one of the first times that I can mention in recent history that someone has dropped the price of a subscription service. So shout out to Asha and shout out to Microsoft for doing that. 'Cause like I said, that was a pipe dream. That was like a 0.1% chance that I thought it was going to happen. So. I'm saying I'm wrong on the podcast for sure. And again, I mean, to trade off being no Call of Duty day one, to be honest, I mean, you barely would be used to it anyways if you were an Xbox Game Pass subscriber. I don't think that you got Game Pass for Call of Duty. I know that was one of the biggest controversies. They're like, oh, you gonna put it on there? You're gonna put Call of Duty on there? And then they finally did. But that was during one of the worst years in Call of Duty history for Black Ops 7. So really nobody cared. I don't think that.
No, I started with 6.
Okay, yeah, 6. But
I remember we was all on 6.
You're right, 6. My bad. But yeah, 6 was okay. But when 7 came out, then people were really like, "Hey, I'm not trying to get Game Pass for that." I didn't really care. I saw a very, very small amount of people that care that there was no Call of Duty. Because the weird thing is, they said it was going to come the next year, and I'm like, well, nobody wants to play it the next year. So I feel like y'all need to tweak that again and maybe make it 6 months. At least because the game is going to be effectively dead. Nobody wants to play that because, to be honest, I mean, everybody plays Call of Duty for multiplayer. Not too many people play it for the single player only. So you're essentially going to make that franchise dead in the water if you're relying on Game Pass. But I feel like, again, at this point, the majority of people who are playing Call of Duty anyway, you're going to buy it. So
Call of Duty comes out when? Like November?
Like October, November. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say put it on the Game Pass like February, like the next year, because like the majority of their sales are going to come from Christmas. They're going to come from Thanksgiving, Christmas sales.
Right.
After that, put it on the Game Pass. I think.
Yeah. So that's, and I'm kind of weird on that one. Like a whole year is kind of DOA on that one. But again, I feel like that's a fair trade off. They also say that they're going to be tweaking some of the subscription tiers. So I'm curious to see what exactly they're going to do with that. They said that they are going to look at some of the features in each tier and then potentially do like a pay for what you want type of system. Like whatever bundles that you want, you can throw in there. So for me personally, the reason why I got Ultimate was because that one had Xbox Cloud, and that was one of the only ways that I could play Xbox Game Pass on my Steam Deck. So I remember when I had my son, I was like, yo, why can't I play cloud? Like I went through the whole process and I was like, I can't play cloud games. And then I realized I had to get Ultimate. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and get Ultimate so that I can do this. So that would be one feature that I would still want. So if I can like get that, but then like take away some other features, like again, I don't give a shit about Call of Duty. And there would be some games like I would really just care about like maybe like if I can get a tier with like the first party games, if I get all the first party games that Xbox comes out with day one, then that would be the tier I would get along with Xbox Cloud so that I can play games on my Steam Deck. And I would be fine with that. So if they do introduce that, then that would be more appealing to me. But I think this is a step in the right direction. I'm not saying that this is a capital W. We still got a long way to go. But I think in terms of Asha trying to right the ship, this is a good faith gesture. I think that all of the Xbots will be happy about this, but at the end of the day, Xbox has to come out with the games that makes Xbox Game Pass affordable and makes it enticing for people to not only stick with, but for new people to get those subscriptions in, because again, that's the whole point. So for them to look at the model and be like, hey, that's too much, and they actually downgraded the subscription, I was very surprised. But again, it's a step in a good direction. So small W for now. But I'm gonna be looking with a magnifying glass to see what else y'all can cook up.
With this price drop, I think I'll probably come back to Game Pass on a month-to-month basis. It's really about the first-party games. What is Bethesda and Activision putting out, and like Team Ninja and shit like that? If they're putting out like good games that I want to play, the month that game comes out, I might subscribe for like a month or two, depending on how long it takes me to beat it. But I'm probably gonna cut it off afterwards, just because like. It's not that I can't. I don't want to afford a year worth of Game Pass again, just because y'all president, not mine, is just fucking up the world right now, and I'm just trying to, save some money. I'm trying to be a little bit more frugal here. But overall, I would say it's a W. We're going in the right direction. What do you think, Ethos?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still excommunicated right now, so we'll see what happens. It's a good gesture, but again, like I said, is this just it kind of gives that vibe of you will pay more for less, if that makes sense. Like if we're going to be reducing the prices, but Microsoft is obviously a big company, so they've probably done a risk assessment of like how much can we lower this to make people think they're still getting value, even if like we're technically cutting a big amount of it. Because I mean, I got the Game Pass long before Call of Duty was even an afterthought, so that was just like a bonus on top. But kind of what you guys are saying, right? If the games aren't there, then what's the point? Even if you reduce the cost, which is a good sign, even if you reduce the cost, if there's not enough value there, it's still not going to be worth it. So if Call of Duty was a big factor for people to want to get the Game Pass, and now that's gone, it's like, how are you going to justify, which is the problem they ran into in the first place, which I thought was the whole reason why they put it on the Game Pass, is because they were trying to get more subscriptions. So if that was the main thing, and you're like, okay, well, that didn't get us enough, or now we're taking that away, and we have already done the math, and we think that the people who are going to leave Game Pass as a result of that is smaller than the amount of people who might resubscribe that we lost because of the increase in the price. They probably done the math on that and said, yeah, it's probably worth us just cutting Call of Duty and just getting our money by just making people pay $70 a year. But yeah, I hope it doesn't become, which is the key. The next pushback would be is if they start to say, okay, well now Xbox game exclusives or whatever it is, or Xbox Studio games are no longer going to be day one on the Game Pass. Now we're falling into the pattern of we're reverting. We're not actually making progress. We're just reverting the Game Pass into a previous weaker version of what it used to be, which I think would end up with, I would argue and say, I don't think that's going to be a net positive. I think it's just going to be.
I'd be canceling my shit. That's why I said month to month.
What's the point of it? If it's just like, yeah, it might be like the sort of like what you were talking about earlier, like the indie pass, or like a pass that like really is just like, oh, well, if I want to play a backlog of games I haven't been able to get to, I can try them there instead of like, okay, these are day one big games I want to play, which would be a big factor for me personally.
Well, I mean, that's one thing that they did. Another small victory that people are celebrating is it leaked that the Game Pass Starter Edition is coming, a new tier, and it'll launch alongside Discord. It's a Discord Nitro perk, basically. So basically, people who subscribe to Discord Nitro also get Game Pass Starter Edition, which is a new lowest tier, which comes with 50 games in the Game Pass library. Plus, you get 10 hours of the xCloud streaming, as well as the Discord Nitro. So the games, 10 hours of streaming, and the Nitro. And there's big games on there like Dishonored 2, Fallout 4, like all that. There's AAA games you haven't played them, Stardew Valley, Gears 5, all that stuff. But do we think this is a nice gesture for people who maybe think maybe $22.99 is a little bit too much, Ethos?
How much was it again? It was
at least $6.
Yeah, I mean, shit, $6.
Nah, Discord Nitro is 10 a month. They bumped it up. I'm bugging.
Nah, I'm good, bro.
But
So this gives me Nitro if I have the Game Pass?
You said what?
So this gives me Nitro if I have the Game Pass?
No. You have to subscribe to Discord Nitro, and then you get the Game Pass.
Yeah.
And the Nitro's 10?
Yeah.
And I get this like starter, like kind of like older game backlog type thing?
Yeah. Plus cloud streaming.
Maybe, but I unsubscribed from my Discord Nitro because of that whole ID thing. I kind of boycotted and unsubbed it. So.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
I feel like for like maybe like the ball and gun gamer who's on a budget, who's scared to try, because that's always their excuse. Maybe you said like they act like game reviews don't exist. Man, that's $30, man. I can't pay for that shit. Okay, well, what about 10 a month where you get a big catalog of games, plus you can play your ball and gun games? I think maybe just to get them out of their comfort zone, this could be a thing.
Yeah, but it's a good entry point is what I call starter. So yeah, I think it's cool.
True. When is it supposed to come? I don't know, but it leaked. What's the name? So keep an eye on it for when they officially announce it. They found it in the data code, so I think it's a 90% chance this is real. And then other news, Asha also said our presence on PC isn't strong enough. Pretty interesting quotes here. Players are frustrated. New features drop on console have been less than frequent. Our presence on PC isn't strong enough, she said. Pricing is getting harder for people to keep up with, and our core experiences like search, discovery, social, and personalization still feel too fragmented. Developers and publishers are asking for more too, better tools, better insight, and a platform that helps them grow faster. Then they also went on to say Xbox will be built to be affordable, personal, and open. We will offer flexible pricing so it's easy to get started and keep playing. The experience will adapt to you, letting you customize how you play, helping you find what you love, and connecting you with the right people. And we're open to all creators, from individuals to the largest studios, and giving anyone the tools to reach a global audience and keep their games growing over time. I agree with this statement. I feel like well, Asha is saying that their presence on PC isn't strong enough. They have the Xbox app on there, but like I feel like these companies severely underestimate how much PC gamers do not want to come up off of Steam. So in my humble opinion, I feel like, Asha, if you ever see this, if you really want more PC gamers to get involved in the Xbox ecosystem and you want them to launch that Xbox app, you have to undercut the competition, man. If Steam is charging, I don't know, 50 for fucking Expedition 33, you need to be charging 40. I don't know if y'all can take that hit. I feel like that, and even still, because Watts said that she's like, I don't give a fuck, I'm not coming off Steam. You still got the people that will not come off Steam. But if you want some people to come off Steam, I feel like you're gonna have to lower them prices a little bit, undercut the competition until at least you can build like a larger like audience. And I also feel like they don't do a good job of expressing what value is on the Game Pass. I feel like you'll get articles from like mainstream media saying, hey, here's the new games coming. But like, I don't feel like Xbox themselves do a good job of bigging up, especially like the smaller games. You might, like I said, you might get an article, but like, why not do like live streams? Like kind of how like Nintendo does with the Treehouse bullshit, where like they really play these games for like hours at a time and they talk to their fans and like build some type of community. I remember with like the Major Nelson thing, like every week there was like a show. Somebody in my chat says they do like a weekly show, but I was like, it must not be that good because don't nobody talk about it. So y'all need a new host or something. Because right now I feel like as much value as the Game Pass does have, I don't think they are doing a good job of expressing it. What you think, Ethos, with the whole getting stronger with the PC stuff?
I mean, I can repeat what I said. Steam's got people by a chokehold. It's got them brainwashed. So honestly, I won't see anything in my lifetime. I think Steam will outlive us all. I just don't think there's any way, unless the only way possible is if Steam got revealed that it was surveilling all of its user base. And I think even then there'd still be people that say, I don't care, I'm still going to be on Steam.
I don't got nothing to hide.
Yeah. I seriously don't think there's anything that can happen at this point for people to ever turn their backs against Steam at this point. So I think it's time to just call it GG and just accept that you just got to get on board with it.
Damn, is it over, Jay?
I mean, yeah, I don't know what they can do, honestly. I mean, you gave a good suggestion, but I mean, we've talked about the Xbox app on PC. It's pretty bad. Go back to what Watt said. She mainly plays on the PlayStation controller. She said she can't play on the Xbox Game Pass with her PlayStation controller, so she has to use alternate options. So that was one of the main reasons she was like, I'm not using it. I had problems with Xbox Game Pass just trying to download a game because there was like a weird glitch where like I couldn't download anything at all. It would just be stuck at 0%, and I had to like cancel it, cut the close the app, open it back up in order for it to jumpstart again. They fixed that recently, so shout out to them. But I mean, there's really no benefit to the Xbox app for me other than Game Pass, to be honest. So like it's been a pretty like monotone system. Like it just doesn't have that same appeal that Steam, or even like I would even argue like it doesn't even have the same appeal that like Epic Game Store or EA Play has. It's just kind of there. Like I guess join the if I want to get a stupid ass Xbox party chat, but who does that? Like, why would I do that? I can do it, but like, and there are like achievements there, but again, that's not enough for me to like go back or feel like I was back in the Xbox 360 days. It's just, I don't know. I just think people just feel like it's there, and we just access it if we like need to play those one-off games that like I just don't have a Steam code for it. If I don't have a Steam code and it's like, oh, it's on Xbox Game, but I got an Xbox code, or it's on Game Pass, and I'll just download it there. But other than that, I'm just kind of just not feeling it. So yeah, I honestly don't have any real suggestions that will like help you all really, I guess, prove. I mean, I guess maybe just talk about it more. Maybe just say that it's there. I feel like people just don't know that it's there, period. So let's start there. Let's start advertising, because I remember when Ethos was first talking that real big Xbox Game Pass, I'm the bishop type shit. He mentioned that there was an Xbox Game Pass for PC, and a lot of people didn't even know that, and it was cheaper, like way cheaper back in the day. You know, they've increased the price, but it was super cheap, and that was the reason why I got it, because I was like, wait a minute, I was like, this is here, and it's been here for the longest. Y'all weren't talking about it, so I think y'all do need to spend a little bit of marketing dollars and let people know that, hey, like, this is here, and we have this exclusive pass for you here, and it's been here for the longest, that you can buy instead of the Xbox Game Pass, because a lot of people probably still associate anything Xbox Game Pass as just a console only, and it's not. So start there, and then we can start thinking about other options.
You know what's funny is Xbox did do that. They had like a whole marketing campaign. I remember this because I was actually cracking a joke of like, yo, y'all should hire me. I'll wear the get up and everything. But I remember they used to have that thing with the I forgot what it's called, like the pointer, where they're like tapping the screen. They were doing that, and they were also doing I remember there was like commercials they did about like they called it PC Game Pass, and I remember, and they were like showing trailers of PC Game Pass. So I don't even think that's enough anymore. I don't know what it was, because I agree. I don't know, maybe it was just like they were showing the trailer at the right places. I remember I saw it on Twitch a lot of times for their commercials, but like they did try to like advertise and tell people that there is a PC component, but I think like a lot of people just assumed, oh, that just means it's on PC, not that it's a different like cheaper thing. It kind of was just you can play games on the Game Pass on your PC, not that, oh no, there's a separate cheaper.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, I think they should have done like biggest thing. Xbox is there's a reason why people to this day will always remember, was it $5 football, $5 football. Like they constantly read about Subway because they drilled that into people's heads constantly. Whether it's jingle, whether
how much
it's
time you have.
Ace still ended up with Jimmy's John.
Come on, man.
I mean, that's better than having a pedophile in their mouth. To be fair.
I mean,
Ace was ahead of the time, bro.
Oh, still ended up with Jimmy's John in his mouth. That's
I'd
crazy.
rather have that than a pedophile in my mouth. That's all I'm saying. So,
That's a classic.
yeah, that's a crazy.
So they didn't do a good job, though.
I don't think they did a good job,
but
like they were trying to market it, but I think the way they were trying to market it, that they're just trying to tell people there's a Game Pass on PC, not, hey, it's $5. Like that's $5.
Here's an idea: get some gamers, get some younger people, like some Gen Z people who know how to use the fucking internet, and let them run that shit in terms of promoting your games. Because I do feel like Microsoft is just a little too corporate. They got to loosen it up a little bit. I think that's what made Major Nelson so cool. He was a little corporate, but like you could tell he played games when he did like his weekly show. Like they need somebody to come in and host something for them and really put their products out there. And the crazy part about it that I don't think they understand is that doesn't have to be expensive, bro. That's as simple as letting that person run that YouTube channel, give them a cameraman, maybe like a script writer or whatever, and just let them run the Twitter page or whatever, and let them run that 24/7. I don't feel like that would be too expensive for one of the world's most richest companies in the goddamn world. You're not asking.
yeah, y'all got the money.
Hire some black people.
Ding ding
And
ding.
the
ding,
Black
ding.
Xbox, no, they canceled it, bro. Come on, man.
You need to hire a group of black people to do that social media for you. I promise you, you'll see a
You
change.
need constant viral tweets that like just make people laugh and engage with your product. They're gonna be like, wow, these people are cool. Like, let me check out what's going on over on Xbox.
And then you know what? Get the guy that was making jokes about white people be like da 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 da, and make him do a video about the Game Pass. That's already boom, just off the dome, just right there. You can immediately get somebody off rip.
The white boys love Game Pass. Like, yeah, let me just search the game.
Oh, my boy love the Game Pass. Look at all these good games. Like, yeah, just go for it, man.
And then last but not least, on the Xbox side of things, I found this one tweet that was going really viral. I just wanted to hear y'all take on this. This one person was trying to create, I don't know if this is a gender war or something, but he said Asha's already doing much more for Xbox than Sarah Bond ever did. And then he talks about the announcement of the price drop with the Game Pass, as well as like this rumor with the Discord Nitro thing. I have my take on this, but I want to hear y'all thoughts. Do y'all feel like Asha is doing more than Sarah Bond?
It's way too early. Come on now. I'm not jacking this.
Not
Come
even
on, man.
year
Black
one.
girl magic. Nah,
Yeah.
I'm not. This is more Sarah Bond propaganda. And y'all not going. I'm not jacking it, bro. Y'all not gonna have me opt in on this, bro. Like y'all really making it seem like Sarah Bond was like the worst human on the face of the earth. And I'm not rolling with it.
Yeah, I'm super woke. I'm going as far as to say this is actually anti-black because I'd argue the reason why you perceive what Asha to be doing is more than Sarah is because she's the CEO of the company. She can. Like it should. This tweet should be you
Sarah
feel
Bond
like
was never CEO at the time, right? Phil had
Sarah's
not
never
even-
been. That's the point.
No,
And that's what I'm saying.
no.
This tweet should be you feel like Asha's
Yeah, Phil
doing
Spencer.
more
You
than
should look at
Phil
Phil
Spencer.
Spencer.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
you
the
should look
point.
at
That's
Phil
why
Spencer.
this feels anti-black. What the fuck does the vice president have to do with anything when she's the CEO? I'm like, this is some woman
never
that
got
both
into
women.
the role.
Because they're more women. That's it.
Yeah, both women, and it's anti-black. I'm like, get this the fuck out of here, bro. This is disingenuous as fuck. Go beef with Phil Spencer, bro.
See, this goes back to what I just said. I'm like, people are like, oh man, this is a huge W for Microsoft. No, it ain't. Asha did one potential good thing that we've never seen before, but I'm not just going to sit here and be like, oh man, she's the savior. She's going to bring Xbox back. It's a good faith gesture, but we got to see what's going on. Yes, she made, potential good faith decision early on, but don't be forgetting, man, as soon as she said that she's the CEO, y'all shit on her, talking about, oh, she's the AI chick. Don't forget, don't switch up this early. Come on now.
Y'all
Like,
was
we
ready
gotta
to hate on her.
we got to keep it grounded. Like, we came in here and said that, like, we don't know how she gonna be, but no, y'all hated this at first. And y'all said Asha ain't gonna do nothing. She does one good thing, and now y'all all on her, on her clip. Nah, I'm not jacking it, bro. Like, I bet chill out.
Off breadcrumbs. That's
Yeah, bro.
I just checked the
Come
thing.
on,
Yeah,
man.
Sarah Bond, the highest she got was she was promoted by Phil Spencer October 26, 2023, Bond was promoted to the president of Xbox, reporting directly to CEO Phil Spencer. On 2026 of February, Satya Nadella basically announced that Bond would be leaving Microsoft along with Spencer, and then Asha then took over as the next executive vice president, but she is now currently considered the CEO. I don't know how you can be executive vice president and chief executive officer, but I guess. But
sometimes they can just
both,
they'll do
she
a role.
CEO. So yeah, I don't know why you're considering that, because is it Matt Booty? Matt Booty?
I thought Matt Booty's second in command now.
Yeah, I thought he's basically what
Sarah was.
Yeah, what Sarah was. Where is Matt Booty? I see he erased his little Wikipedia page.
Mm-hmm.
He heard I was talking smack about him.
Booty. Freaking. Either way, I definitely know that there's no reason to be comparing those two because they had different job titles, and I'm just like, that's just disingenuous. You just want to get a viral
page.
Yeah, he the executive vice president and chief content officer now.
This boy hiding his information. Why ain't nobody make a Wikipedia page?
So, but he reports directly. He reports directly to Asha. So yeah, he basically is in Sarah's role in a sense now.
Freaking how we feel about potential. There's a rumor floating around that the Venom spinoff game from Insomniac is canceled. This is coming from Miles Morales' voice actor confirming the news. It actually comes from a podcast where he gave an exclusive, and he was just like, yeah, he's like, I heard they got rid of that shit. But there's been conflicting reports saying that from, Jason Schreier from Bloomberg, saying that apparently Insomniac is still working on this. So what the Miles Morales voice actor is saying is not confirmed. It's a he say versus she say thing. I watched the podcast. I should have saved it. I watched the podcast and I listened to him speak. And honestly, he came across like there was nothing malicious. He was being honest. He might have genuinely heard that the game was canceled. But if you're not 100% like sure on that, that's one of those cases where like you should just be quiet because you might get yourself blackballed. Because it could be a situation where Insomniac maybe decided to greenlight it again. But until Insomniac comes out and says something, it's a 50-50. It's a he versus she say. Do we care if it is canceled though?
Nah, to be honest, I'm not I'm not gonna bat an eyelash if they did or did not come out with this game. But the thing here is they said allegedly it got canceled because Tony Todd died. And that has me more confused at the potential of it because I mean, shout out to Tony Todd, I know him as Candyman, or Final Destination, but Tony Todd was an amazing actor. I definitely loved him in his movies, but unless he had like significant role here again, which is going off of alleged, I was like, damn. Usually things don't get canceled because of someone passing away. So again, if this is the rumor that we're rolling off of, then yeah, he would have had something super significant here, being the main voice actor of Venom. So that was interesting if they would have put him in the video game because he's been, obviously the movie being a potential voice actor of Venom. So yeah, so that was an interesting thing to me. But just a game overall, I don't give a fuck if they cancel it or not.
Yeah, that section in Spider-Man 2 where you got to play as Venom, it was really cool at first. I was like, oh shit, you playing? And then the gameplay started, and I damn near fell asleep. That shit was boring. It was very underwhelming. So like, if they do a full game for Venom, I suspect it would have been like Miles Morales. It would have been like an 8-hour adventure that barely changed anything from the formula. And I just personally wouldn't want that. So like, I don't really care if Venom gets canceled. What about you, Ethos?
I mean, Miles Morales was pretty good when they made that spinoff. I think like they did enough to mix it up. I'd argue it was better than Spider-Man 2, but that's not my business.
I know. Don't you start. Wait. In the defense of Spider-Man 2, I agree with you. I do feel like I enjoyed Miles Morales more, but it was because we were still coming off of Spider-Man 1. Because I'd also argue the reason I didn't enjoy Spider-Man 2 as much is because Miles Morales, I don't feel like it changed that much for Miles Morales.
That's fair. That's a fair point.
The game just shouldn't have existed, I think, with Miles Morales.
I think Venom wouldn't have been as compelling unless they got Eddie Brock into the pipelines that he becomes Venom. Because I don't think he's in... Is he in Spider-Man 2? I don't remember. Was he in it?
I don't remember.
I know the whole time they changed the lore so it wasn't so that his friend would have it. Why am I blanking on his friend's name? Harry.
Oh.
No, Harry has it.
Yeah,
so Harry
yeah.
has it.
So no, he wasn't in there. No.
Yeah. So obviously, like that whole, I feel like Spider-Man 2 kind of put a latch on that. Like the only way I can see it working is like they'd have to pick a new person to be in control of Venom, which could make sense. Like if it slips out somehow and then it finds Eddie, and then Eddie takes over, they pick a new person to become Venom. I think Venom's popular enough to deserve his own game. I really do. I think he's a very popular character, so I don't think it's a question of like, oh, I don't think he would have the same reach as Spider-Man. I think anybody would want to play a Venom game. But I guarantee you what happened is, my guess is you probably looked at that or X-Men, and I'm pretty sure you're like, yeah, I think we go for X-Men. I think they probably did some like internal testing or just hype to see what the vibes were. And I think a lot of people would have, if they see a Wolverine, like if you had a choice between a Venom and a Wolverine game, I think most people are going to push towards, I want a Wolverine game. So I think,
yeah.
And it's kind of that idea of, well, how much resources do we currently have? Do we have, maybe they thought like, okay, maybe we have enough resources that we can work on Wolverine and still have a smaller team make like what we did with Miles Morales. Because if you didn't know, the development time behind Miles Morales was miraculous. I think they got that shit done in like a year and a half. Like they were so good. Like they were so good at like, because they did all that hard work with the first game, that it was so easy for them to like come up with cool stuff and just immediately get like Spider-Man Miles Morales like off the ground really fast. So yeah, and then from Spider-Man 2 to the
if they wanted to do Venom and it wasn't canceled, if they can't do Eddie, because Mary Jane's in the game, right? Yeah, because she
Yes.
they could do
Unfortunately, yeah. Remember those missions? Terrible.
Time for me to be a actually ass nigga. For those unaware, in the comic books, the new Venom is Mary Jane, so they could do her.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I remember that got revealed, bro. The internet. I saw Twitter, bro. I even saw was it Beef? Where I think he predicted, he's like, they gonna do some shit like make Mary Jane Venom or something.
It was very random. People weren't really, it got mixed reviews. But if they wanted to, they could, because they low-key already toyed with it in that second game when she did turn into that little evil symbiote demon thing.
The other one, yeah.
So low-key she could be.
Scream,
Scream is actually its own character. I think like Scream has their own comic book. Because I saw a comic for Scream, and I was like, oh, I was gonna get it because
y'all ain't trying to run around with the pistol with Venom and shit.
Hell no.
And also, I don't want to do discourse, because that'll just be another discourse of Sony is killing off masculinity. Yeah, we're gonna play another woman. I don't want to deal with that headache.
Yeah, I'm an incel by choice. Time for the lightning round. Rumors floating around from the first review that leaked early. The Steam controller will, according to this review, will cost $99. Anybody picking it up?
That's tough, bro. That's tough. Ethos, have you like actively used the trackpads on your Steam Deck for any games? Because I have not.
I used it for like some immersive sim games where like you had to open the inventory. I would quickly use that to like
I would say I can see it for like a Destiny inventory type of game where like you gotta scroll
a lot of menu stuff. Yeah, or like if I wanted to play a strategy game, I feel like that's when I would be using the mouse. But most of the time I would probably prefer not to use it unless like I was in the desktop version, you know, when you're in Linux.
I use it then. I use it then a lot. Yeah,
that's when I have to use it.
I feel like I would have to hold the controller before I pay that price tag. It does have Hall effect analog sticks, so like the analog sticks are pretty much built to last. But like I don't like how it's set up. Like I feel like everything looks like the Xbox controller except for the sticks. So I feel like I would have to put it in my hand and before I buy it to see if I like it or not.
Like the Steam Deck isn't bad, but I'm trying to picture it in the controller form and if I would like it in controller form. But I've seen more people, they were like, man, I'm not buying that. I stick with the 8-bit though, the one that you recommended, Ethos. A hell of people on that controller, they love it. So that controller right there. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot more people praising that controller.
Only $30.
Yeah, so people are like, I'm gonna pass on this one.
I would
controller prices make no sense.
I was just gonna say, I went to Best Buy this past week because my PS5 controller is like, I've had it since like what, a year since it came out. And like those controllers' batteries suck. Like like now, like it can't even hold a battery charge. Like I have to constantly keep it plugged in, else like the controller just says I'm out of battery, and then it just dies. Like literally like 20 minutes of me just having it unplugged. So I'm like, damn, I think I have to finally get this replaced. I walked into Best Buy. They talking about some $80 for a controller. I said, hey, what? I thought they were like $40. 70? I left. I said, I'll just stick with the controller. I'm not about to pay no.
That's more than a video game. That's more than a video game. Like, what are you talking
The
about?
tech is not, mind you, the PlayStation controller has not changed since the PlayStation 1 when they introduced the dual analog setup, whatever. It's been pretty much the same controller with slight changes. So
It's
what?
just the haptic. It's the haptic.
What's in the controller that warrants $80 fucking dollars, dude? It
Gotta be
doesn't
those
make any
haptics,
sense.
bro. It has to be.
Man, take
Like,
that shit out.
I gotta check to see if there's like a third-party PlayStation 5.
There's
company
not. That's the problem, bro.
and find something that's cheaper because
They don't license like that. One thing I will give Xbox, they license this game, sir, is $40. I bought this bitch 2 years ago. It is still rocking. I learned from this Game Sir controller, I will never buy another controller that does not have Hall effects analog sticks because these bitches they do not fall off, bro.
They don't break. Yeah, they don't break.
So and it's only $40. It's cheaper than what the licensed Xbox and the PlayStation price. So like, I was like,
Yeah, that's insane, bro. Yeah, even though GameStop, I mean, $5 cheaper, $74.99.
Yeah, they're
like,
all-
what the fuck are you? What the fuck? Nah, bro.
You can't get even the Xbox ones. I was like, because I remember when I got a. God damn, I hate Trump. When I got the when I got my X, I had to get another Xbox controller because I broke the first one playing Sekiro because I kept spamming the.
Yeah, that's how mine would mess it up, man.
It broke after spamming it to death. I said I gotta go, and I remember I spent like $40-something on it. I think it was like $45. I was like, that was like my limit. I was like, okay, I was like, this is kind of something, but it's not terrible. I can do 40, 45. And now I look at it, it's like $70. I'm like, that's fucking insane. I just can't justify that in my brain. I like, it's not that I don't have the money to pay. It's just like my brain just won't. I can't justify that in my brain. Like, how old
for that.
Yeah. That's how much the elite controllers and like the try-hard controllers used to be. Those used to be 80, 90, $100. Now that's just the standard. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
Too rich for my blood. Battlefield movie in the works, being produced by Michael B. Jordan, Christopher McQuarrie. Anybody? Battlefield movie? Anybody? You told me to put this in the section.
Now what I tell you?
This is the lightning round. I had this originally in the main section, but Ethan was like, "Man, get this shit the fuck out of here." You don't watch a Battlefield movie?
Until it's a trailer, I don't give a fuck.
This is hilarious because I mean we literally got the like Call of Duty and Battlefield and now going to compete with each other in Super Screen too. Yeah, like come on, like I have the same opinion that I had with Call of Duty. Like what type of movie this is going to be? Battlefield has not. Well, they tried to, but like again, it's another situation. Which era are you going to go into? I don't understand. It's nothing that I asked for.
Oh, fun fact. If you didn't know, I'm gonna spoil this because I don't give a fuck. The movie that Michael B. Jordan did before Sinners, a little bit before Sinners, Without Remorse. It was like during the pandemic. It came out. It got panned. It wasn't that great. I would say it wasn't terrible. It was mid. It was the definition of mid.
Wasn't that the Rainbow Six one?
Yes. The ending spoiler is
I watched that one. I watched that one. Yeah.
The ending is that it teases Rainbow Six Siege. That they bring.
Wait. What's the name of the movie?
So he might be involved too. Without Remorse. It's basically what you expect. He's a Navy.
Is that a
SEAL.
Ubisoft IP?
No, it's a Tom Clancy. So it's Tom Clancy because Tom Clancy,
okay. Yeah.
Ubisoft, does that with Tom Clancy. But the whole story is that his pregnant wife gets killed at their house or something like that. And it's like some government cover up, and they were trying to kill him, and they failed. So basically, he goes on this whole thing to kill them. And then at the end of the movie, I can't remember if it's the president or somebody, but somebody comes up to him and says, basically like a Marvel thing, and says, "I'm putting together a team of elite operators." And I was like, hold on, I alluded to the meme. I was like, elite operators from around the world, and it's like call sign Rainbow, and I was like, oh shit, we're gonna get a Rainbow movie. So now Ubisoft has nothing to do with it, I'm pretty sure, but it's kind of funny that Michael B is potentially doing Battlefield, and he might be also involved in
right, yeah.
I was gonna call cap on this movie anyway because I feel like because Michael B is like him and the other dude, Hispanic dude, they're like the it boys in Hollywood now. Like they just use him as like bait because you remember in 2020 when they announced that they was gonna do a Static Shock with Michael B. What happened with that?
That wasn't true. That wasn't real. That was fake. That was a
This is fake news too. Battlefield game stories ain't that interesting enough to get a goddamn movie. Like I'm good off that.
Oh, really bad. Make sure y'all go out and buy the Dakota Incident. They had a new
second printing.
Yeah. I just picked up the static one. I'm waiting for it in the mail. But go and support that. Keep showing DC that they can't be doing these one shots for Black characters only on Black History Month. We deserve a whole year-long, 2-year.
Well, not just that's not the issue. It's not just one shots. It's then when we don't get one shots, then we get 5-issue miniseries like Mr. Fantastic or whatever, or Mr. Terrific.
Where's Mr. Terrific's long ongoing
versus Batman has 1,000 issues and shit. It's good off that, man.
Yeah.
Toei announced they're going to start developing video games. They're going to start with PC games and expand the console later. Their initial lineup is focusing on original IP, so do not expect anything. And I mean, it could be anime styled, but basically don't expect a One Piece type video game. First project will be announced on April. They said 24th. Nah, this is off. Then they ain't announced it because I ain't seen it yet. But we know that they're working on any games. I've seen some people say that they didn't care, and I said this is great. I said the fact that y'all don't care is exactly why the anime community deserves less. Not only did Toei come in and say that they are one of the biggest anime producers, they're gonna come in and say they're gonna make new games. They said they're gonna make original games. And then y'all say y'all don't want it. I said this is why y'all get Xenoverse 3 and sparking DLC 25 breakthroughs.
I just tell them it's Dragon Ball, bro. So be it.
Yeah, it's gotta be Dragon Ball. It's gotta be One Piece. But nah, they said they're making original shit. I want to see more Scarlet Nexuses, bro. That was a good game. I take it neither one of you could.
It's not how much time you have.
Because I mean, it just gives me PTSD. I'm like, are you gonna just pull the Bandai Namco formula, but it's just under you? Like, I just don't know. We'll have to see.
Fine. Well, how do you guys feel about the new Pokemon clone called Olympus Rangers? It's straight up, so like fresh off the heels of the failure of Pokemon Champions. This game came out called Olympus Rangers. Damn, this link don't work. I'll type that in. It's literally Pokemon Champions.
Stadium Champion. Yeah. I saw this and I'm like, man, here we go again. Like Nintendo about to gear it up. Who makes this one? Jansensoft?
You can like create your own rules and monsters and shit and import it in. I said, oh, they don't give a fuck about balance. Just do whatever.
Yeah, the one thing about it, I think people were excited about the potential mods here, but I mean, like again, this is animals or animals fighting each other, exotic Pokemon. So I just don't know. I don't know if Nintendo has this on their radar. They probably do, but I find it funny though that multiple devs are taking the shot now of making these types of games.
Right, because I've seen some people making fun of this, like, oh, it's just a bootleg Pokemon. But in my head, I'm thinking, guys, the only reason these games exist is because what Nintendo has been doing has not been up to par. So people are gonna try to take it in their own hands and try to cash out, and I can't be mad at them because competition is good.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that. So we'll see.
I saw the trailer. The cool thing about this one though is that they have full modding support, which means
that's what I said. I was like, you
put
could
Pokemon in there if you want to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it, but yeah, you could technically.
That's where they're probably going to get hit with legal once, because that's what immediately is going to happen. They're adding all these tools that I think Pokemon like competitive fans have always wanted, and that like what you said, Pokemon Champions kind of been perceived as garbage. So this might be like the way that they're going to be like, oh, we're going to just throw mod our own stuff in. So I mean, it's cool. I like that. Any game that gives people cool mod capabilities. But yeah, that Steam Workshop's gonna get hit with so many DMCAs, bro. That shit gonna go crazy.
Far Cry TV series. It will not adapt any of the games, the showrunner says. And not only will it not adapt any of the games, there was a pretty interesting quote in here. I'm too lazy to find it, so I'm going to paraphrase it because I read it already. But he says something along the lines of the reason they're not adapting any video games is because video games do not have interesting stories. That's why people tend to skip past the cutscenes. But he was like, with movies and TV, you can't skip past that. And I said, all right. I said, chat, this is a red flag. The other one, the Mass Effect story update, that shit was cap. The Mass Effect one was cap. It's not true. But this is an actual red flag. This nigga said, I'm not even going to try to understand it. That says to me that he doesn't play video games. Because I'm like, you think video games don't have good stories? And that's why people skip them? Like, what are you talking about, bro?
This is exactly how we got to the point where people thought that any video game adaptation that turned into a movie or a series was ass. So, like, you don't need to go that route. Please don't go that route. Like, this is literally reverting back to that time, that dark period where any video game adaptation that turned into a movie was bad. Like, we're trying to right the ship, and we've been doing an okay job now bringing these video games to life in a series or in a movie. So please, don't do this. Like, I would love to potentially, and I know a lot of people may not like Far Cry 5, but I think that could be a potentially dope story turned into a movie, because I like that cult stuff. Like, I think that could be.
I actually do think that would be the best for like a TV show or a movie.
Yeah, that would be super fire. So, like, please, like, what are you talking about? I don't hit skip. I read faster, but I don't hit skip during these cutscenes. Like, what type of person are you? Are you a madman trying to play a story-driven game and you're just hitting skip past everything? I don't think the gamers are doing that. Like, I don't know where you got that from, but like TBA said, I don't think you a gamer if that's what you think is going on here. So you need to rethink what you said.
The good news is with the Far Cry TV series, although I do think it's a yellow flag, it is a series where
Doesn't matter.
I don't want to say it doesn't matter. Maybe he should play the games a little bit. You don't have to beat them. I think he should play them a little bit. But with the Far Cry TV series or games, it's more about survival. I better see some drug use in it and like maybe like some type of cult. Other than that, like, yeah, you could play pretty loose with it. You could play pretty loose with it. Like,
its premise is usually like you are an outsider but I mean, this premise has been used before. That's why it's like Far Cry. Even if you translate into a movie, it's like if you take the premise of what Far Cries have always been, it's not like Far Cry is some like truly innovative, unique premise. Like, like some sci-fi film. Like, it's not. It's just like some outsider enters into a location or setting that they are an outsider to, that has a hostile faction or something like that is actively moving against you, and you need to either find your friends or find allies or get to a certain objective that you need to get to. And I think that idea, it's different from Fallout. Like, Fallout has like a lot of quirkiness to it and unique stuff. I agree with what you're saying, TJ. So the only aspects of Far Cry that I think kind of, it's like Voss was very unique because of his character, right, and who he was. So like, unless you are like bringing that together, does it really matter? Like, if you're not going to do like a Far Cry with Voss, because I think he's in it, right?
Or Blood Dragon, like you would need like that aesthetic. But
like,
other than that, nah.
It's like what you can do one in Africa, and that would basically be like Leonardo's like Blood Diamond movie. Well,
no, they do one in Africa. They gotta give him malaria because remember in the second one, that's malaria.
And your gun's gotta jam every 5 minutes.
Pretty much. Other than that, you can do what you want.
You do whatever you want. You call it Far Cry.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you could just slap the Far Cry on anything and make it something. But yeah, like I said, if you're gonna do that though, I still don't agree. Like, you need to.
I still just didn't like that quote. I was like, that's very just Hollywood dismissive. I'm like, bro, can you just try maybe some of these games? You might have a different opinion.
Right. Yeah, we agree.
Splatoon Raiders dropped a new trailer, new game coming to the Switch 2. It is a spin-off of Splatoon. It's a story-driven game where you learn more about the lore of the Squid Kids. I'm going to be honest, I watched the trailer, and from what I saw, it was a lot of defend the computer missions. Not really doing it for me, but maybe for y'all.
Nintendo loves, they love islands, huh? Everything's on an island recently.
Who's ready to squirt?
Yeah, it's very interesting. This new environment that Nintendo is taking us in with all of their main franchises, their IPs. So whatever. I've never been a Splatoon fan, but it's interesting. They're going single player now in this game.
I do feel like this would appeal to children just because of how vibrant and silly it is, but like to like just an adult gamer, I don't know if this is appealing to people. Like the gameplay didn't really move me. What about you? He's like, you don't want to, squirt at the computer?
No.
No. I'm good at this. Come on, Nintendo. I need y'all to put out some bangers, man. I need a reason to get that Switch, dude. Resident Evil sold 7 copies in 2 months.
7 copies?
7 million.
Oh, okay. What? Why is it new?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I think
so. They said Then they said that that RE4 remake took a year to hit 7 million, and Requiem already did that in 2 months. So
Yeah, I think it's the fastest selling in the series.
damn, that's crazy, man. Capcom's year, bro. Capcom Takeover 2026. It's crazy. I've been hating on them for 14 years, man. And look what they did this year, and they finally about to give me Onimusha. I really hope Onimusha does well. Everybody who's listening to the podcast, when that shit come out, bro, I want y'all motherfuckers to buy that damn game, please, because I do not want to give Capcom any other reason for them to be like, oh, ain't nobody buy it. Everybody bought Monster Hunter. Everybody bought y'all bought Pragmata. That's a new IP. Even though I love Pragmata, I love it. Again, no disrespect, but if Onimusha, one of y'all oldest franchises y'all came out with in the era that I've been born, if that don't do numbers, man, I'm gonna be pretty upset.
And then when we get done buying Onimusha, we gonna get on Twitter and we gonna demand a new fucking what's the cartoon dude with the red helmet?
Beautiful Joe.
Beautiful Joe. Yeah, we gonna have some new Beautiful Joe too, Capcom. That's what we gonna do.
Might be possible.
They need to, man. They said they want Beautiful Joe. They want Dino Crisis. I'm not a Dino Crisis fan, but y'all can have it. But Beautiful Joe would be next on my list for sure.
Well deserved. Good game. One of my favorite games of the year so far. Well deserved with the 7 million copies. And then another one was Expedition 33 announced they have sold 8 million copies to date. I've seen some people saying like, that's it, game of the year. Guys, again, not only did this win game of the year and sweep the awards, it sold 8 million copies despite it being on the Game Pass. So if we really want to inflate these numbers, it really sold like fucking 16 million copies, bro, because a lot of people played this and didn't buy it, and then a lot of people played it on Game Pass and went back and bought it, because I know I did. I went and bought it. I was like, oh, this got to go in the collection, because originally I played it on Game Pass. So 8 million copies sold despite being on Game Pass is a fucking feat. What are y'all talking about, bro?
Yeah, that's amazing. But again, Steam DB watchers, man, they don't care about that. They're like, oh man, only 8 million. We don't care. Like, it's just so stupid, bro. They did amazing. That's a feat.
You know, the other day before we wrap this up, I was in Siggy's stream and he was playing Pragmata. I said, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, ain't you supposed to be on the game of the year, Crimson Desert? He said, I beat that game already. All right, bro. The 400-hour game, you beat it already? Or did you get tired of it? He said, no, I did. I beat it already, bro.
He lied, because I saw him on it yesterday or today. He was playing. He wasn't done with it.
Yeah, you backed yourself into that fucking joke. Go ahead and play that game of the year, bro. It never ends, man. This shit's fucking funny.
Yeah, he came to my stream the other day, and he said I was ahead of him. I was like, bro, ain't you like spam past this game already? So yeah, he's still playing Crimson Desert for sure.
He said he beat it. Say it. So that's all I got on the show notes before we wrap it up. Anything else y'all want to add?
Pragmata, it did beat what we wanted. It got over.
Oh yeah, we have to address it officially on the podcast. Yes, 1 million copies in 2 days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
Congratulations, we did it. Yeah.
Love to see it.
Capcom's gonna be all right, bro. I go as far as to say I feel like people are enjoying it more than I thought they would.
Yeah.
They are, minus the discourse, because Ethos woke it up. He put out a tweet, man. I talked about it on the pod because you said on the last pod, you said that Diana's American VA voice is a black woman. And we looked it up and I was like, holy crap. And I said it on the last stream that I had. I said, this is crazy that people are getting mad, right? Because once again, they're saying that it's a DEI hire, right? And I'm like, here we go. Here go that bullshit again. So here's my thing. Every time I'm playing this game, the fact that I cannot tell, like my brain does not compute that's a black woman.
That's a great job.
She did a phenomenal fucking job. What are y'all talking about, bro? That means that she's a great voice actor.
But hold on.
Like they're always really good at that. Like like Riley and Huey, both.
And Huey, yeah, bro, amazing, bro. Nobody would have thought that. They would have thought it was some little boy.
But everybody had the same stance as you too on social media. That's the main thing everybody loves is Diana. She's such a great character until you found out she was black. Now she didn't deserve the job. Which one is it, bro? Did you do this shit? Now she didn't do a good job because she's black.
She was the Great White Hope. And then,
yeah, right. Yeah, they switch it up.
Gotcha.
The Great White Hope. And it blew up in their face. Yeah.
But keep in mind, this a robot, by the way. Like
Android. It's not
the best part is, I guarantee you, the voice actor, she has no idea this discourse is going on. That's just a job she did.
Probably.
No, what's funny is I did some research on her because I didn't know anything about it. I was like, what's your background? And because I was like, there's no way you're this good. You have to. And she hasn't done like any like major roles that I was aware of. But she used to be on that 13 Reasons Why. She was on that show, and apparently she played a character that was very an asshole, and she got driven off of social media because people got mad at the character that she had performed.
I mean, she did a really good job voice acting. Then.
So she I think it was like 2022. She got off of social media, and I think maybe she recently came back, but I don't know. I just saw like a recent like interview of her thing. I was like, wow, like you're really like insanely talented, because the entire time I played it, one, I didn't even know it was going to potentially even be a black woman. But two, my brain also, like, I thought this was literally a child, like some child actor that they had hired to voice Diana, because it was just like the inflections, like everything, like it sounds literally, if you close your eyes, like it has this weird oddity where like it sounds like a child, but at the same time it has this like grown up like vibe to the way like the vocabulary. So like you have this weird like cool dichotomy where it's like I'm hearing a child, but it sounds like the intelligence of an adult. But it like she nails it perfectly. And the thing that I found like the thing that I hate about it is that I saw some people who were responding. So I'll respond freely with tweet. There were some people that try to make an argument and said, and I hate this. They try to argue and I said, the main point I was trying to make was you guys can't go and make a point there. If we rewind all the way back to the very beginning of how a lot of this happened, if you make an argument and let's say the original argument started with some people believe that the people that should play the character should be the same skin color for certain roles. And my personal opinion is I don't really care a lot, because I grew up with a lot of people as kids. When I grew up as a kid, a lot of the kid shows that I watched had black women voicing white kids and stuff in the show, and vice versa. There were white women voicing other kids that weren't necessarily black. So it was a big mixture when I was younger. If you look at a lot of the voice actors who did a lot of the kid shows that we grew up with, it was like a mixture of people with races and different voices. Obviously, people have become more socially aware of these type of things, and I think the biggest example of when this like started to like this started to take off was when what was it called, that Egypt movie? It was terrible. It was a terrible fucking movie, but it was that Egypt movie where a lot of the actors were white, and people were like, this is in Egypt. You couldn't get some black actors to be the characters. Why are you like hiring white? Like, why are there white actors doing this? And then it started to reemerge again when I think it was Uncharted 4, the black woman. I think she was like the villain at the time. Nadine. She's voiced by Laura Bailey, who is not a black woman, but this is a black character. So some people made an argument, which I'm like, okay, maybe this is fair, maybe not. I have no race in it. Like either way, I'm just like, if you could get a black woman for it, that's cool. But I'm not like Laura Bailey still did a really good job with Nadine, because half of y'all probably didn't even know that wasn't a black woman speaking as Nadine. But the argument was that, hey, if you're going to voice a character, especially like South of Midnight, you should probably have a black woman voicing.
I was just about to say that. I feel like where you do draw the line is the cultural aspect.
The cultural aspect and the setting of it. I think that's where like you have to, like, for example, the whole that's why the Black Panther argument is asinine, where it's like, no, you need someone black. You can't put a Ryan Gosling in that. That was the whole joke about it. It doesn't make sense. But in this scenario, literally you're dealing with an android robot. And the argument has always been what you're trying to tell me is you care about merit. If your argument to why, if somebody says, hey, I think that a black woman, a dark skin, like some black woman should voice a black character, and your response to that is, oh, no, that's not true. I think the best person for the job should get the job. Then you have to be consistent about that point for that point forward. So you have to say, from now on, the best person should get that position. Period. That was your line.
I'd also argue that the people that are upset by this, it also says to me that they've never been around any type of black children, because like it says to me that you're so racist, you think black children are just born snapping their neck and just wearing do-rags and speaking a certain type of way. What's up, nigga? Like, no. If you listen to the average black kid, they sound like any other innocent, sweet kid.
And a lot of it is environment, right? Like a lot of it is the environment that you're brought up in. Like that's how accents come about. Like it's not like if you have a black kid who's in America in the South, they're gonna sound completely different from a black kid who lives in the UK.
These niggas think we born
born in London
with locks and grape swishes and shit. Like,
exactly. So going back to that merit argument, I'm like, that's absolutely ridiculous, because none of us were in the casting rooms for the role of Diana. We have no clue how many people tried to get that role.
Had to be a lot to get that type of role.
Also, hold on. I thought white America respected and loved Japanese culture until they pick a black person. Then it's wait a minute. We do Japanese man. Listen, we loved you until you picked that black. You don't know what you're doing.
No. Their argument is that Capcom's U.S. office did the localization for this because it's English, right? And they bypass what the Japanese.
They woke it up.
The thing is, It's a white girl. The android is designed as a
So
white girl.
stupid,
It's
bro.
a Japanese
It's a fucking
woman
robot, bro.
But that's what I said too. I was like, you gonna get mad at if you gonna get mad at a black woman voice of the white robot, then why do y'all get mad at the Japanese woman voice of a white robot? Because it's the same shit. I'm like, you're not gonna find an American woman who may know Japanese to do the Japanese part. You not, like, yeah, that's just not gonna happen. Do y'all give a fuck? No, y'all only care when it's one way. That's why
I personally think she deserves at least a nomination for best voice actor.
Big motherfucking fact, yes.
Yeah. I just think it was another thing where it was funny. You had both the left and the right both mad at the game for different reasons. One side calling it, if you play this, you're a pedophile, and then the other side calling it. It reminds me so much of the Harry Potter thing. It reminds me, it's literally like the same thing where like both sides were mad at each other for different reasons about why they liked the game, they didn't. The left doesn't like it because of this, the author. The right side doesn't like it because it's woke, it's got black people in it, and you could be different types of languages and sexes and stuff like that in it. So you have both sides pissed and both people trying to push their certain agendas. And then like when you're just like a normal, regular thinking human being who just plays it, and then you realize, oh shit, a black woman did that. Oh, that's fucking sick. Like what I did, I was like, oh, I'd love to know what else she's done because she's phenomenal. She's probably been in some stuff that I wasn't even aware of. I gotta look at her backlog to see what it is. But for me to be like the whole psychosis of she was supposed to be our great white savior and she was supposed to break the feminism and women were gonna now have kids now and stuff like that. It's just
the great factory reset.
Yeah. Like
again, we can't enjoy anything, bro. We can't enjoy anything. But yeah, I'm pushing the agenda that I want her to win best voice actor now. Forget that. I want to be nominated at least.
I got one more thing, because it wouldn't be a show without me talking about Marathon. I'm just going to say this. We're not going to go into it.
Why am I dead according to Steve TV watchers?
Some stats came out about Marathon. Apparently, it sold the fourth most in the United States for a day. I don't know what's going on here. People are saying that's lies. It's fake data. It's not real.
Wake it up.
I don't know what's going on here. I think
only 20,000 are playing right now, though.
yeah. There's only 2,000 people playing the game, but apparently a lot of people bought the game through some point, or maybe the Steam database is not accurate to how many people actually purchased the game. It's not a good fact. It's basically, this is trying to tell you, maybe it's not a good factor you should be using to determine how much a game's been sold. So I don't know. That's all I would say. I just say there's a lot of Steam DB watchers. They didn't bring that news up. They still looking at the Steam count numbers and how
they've been a little quiet. I feel like the past couple weeks, not really much to talk about.
Yeah, so you've been quiet. Yeah, you've been real quiet.
That's because they got to get ready for the next great war, the next great Concordian War.
Which is what?
I don't know. Whatever Sony's gonna announce next.
There's mostly single player games coming out.
No, there's gonna be.
It's gonna be Horizon. Horizon, the next one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, Horizon. Yeah, the Horizon stylized.
Oh yeah, they're gonna dump
Hunters,
on that too.
Yeah.
It's a live server. They're gonna.
Yeah, they already preempted it. They looked at the beta and said 200 people, 400 people.
It was a closed beta, super closed. Like
with limited times on it. Talking about
I didn't even get to play it because of those time zones. It was crazy.
I didn't get a chance to touch it. So.
I did, but I don't think we're allowed to talk about it. So.
Yeah, don't shut up.
Well,
or in the podcast.
All we got on the show notes. Ethos, you got the floor for closing statement for episode 187. Go.
Cade, listen to me. Nobody believes in you. What are you prepared to do about it? Don't let TBH come up in your house and talk smack about my team. Do what you gotta do today.
Well, Cade's not the problem. Tell Jalen Durant to show up.
I know Cade's not the problem, but I still need him to be he's got a hyper carry. Clearly, I don't know what Durant's doing. I don't know. But Cade, you gotta lock in. You gotta play MVP, best of the entire playoff series of your life, bro. You gotta get that ring. You gotta fight for it. Because clearly, most of your team is asleep at the wheel. They don't know what they're doing. We gonna have to slap them.
It's the magic, man. Paulo's been fucking basura this season, bro. I don't know, man.
I'm just saying. Okay. Singing suspicion. My bet. They struggle in this first one, and then for whatever reason, after that point, they get rid of the jitters. They just got jitters. They get rid of the jitters, and they just start coasting after that point. That's
we gonna see. You down 2-1. We're gonna see.
And I don't mean nothing. Y'all said that we were down 1 last time. It don't matter, bro. They gotta win next game. If they don't win next game, then I'll be nervous. I'll be a little nervous.
Yeah. JG, closing statement. Episode 187. Go.
I've been literally sitting up here dying that like I haven't even watched playoff games for real so far, but I have been dying with like all the narratives, Kevin Durant, Cade, and Orlando.
Hilarious. The Knicks,
Been,
oh my
bro,
god.
The Knicks, yeah, and they're losing to the Hawks right now.
Knicks do what they do, baby.
It's been hilarious. Boston, like, don't let Boston come through, bro, and win the East again, man.
They might, man. They might just blow.
I think Jaylen Brown should get MVP.
I
know that's controversial, but this man single-handedly carried his team to the fucking playoffs before Tatum got there. They said he couldn't go left. He started going left. This man's been averaging like 30 and 10. He plays on both sides of the ball. I mean, like, I know it's not a sexy pick, but like, I just think he deserves it, man.
His only controversy. Yeah, I like watching. The only controversy he had this year was the Beijing in his head. Like you talking about me having that was the only controversy. That nigga was going like this.
Oh shit.
So yeah, it's been hilarious, man. I've been laughing at y'all. Other thing though, I said it on the stream, man. I've been so stressed about the Rams, bro. Bringing back the football. I know T-Bates don't like to hear about it, but
what the hell's happening, y'all? What was the joke? I must have missed it.
We got a quarterback with our first pick at 13, and I was just utterly confused as to why.
Matt retiring.
I did just see a video that the Rams is trying to build a big ass facility out here in LA. Like
another one?
Yeah, so like a training facility with like apartments on top. Like I gotta send you the video.
Yeah, because let's be honest, y'all don't even own where you play right now. They don't even respect y'all.
SoFi. Everybody coming to our stadium. But I've come to acceptance. I gotta still rely on and believe.
So does that mean Stafford's done? That's basically them saying Stafford.
We still don't know. He's on a year-to-year contract right now, so we don't know if he's gonna get 1 year. We don't know if he's gonna get 2. But they said at the end of the day, we had to draft our quarterback of the future, and they decided to pull the trigger now. So I didn't want him. I wanted Mekhi Lemon. I wanted to win now, but they already looking at the future. So I got to accept it. He just gonna be our quarterback. But I just got to figure out what's going on with Stetson Bennett because he's still there. But clearly they don't believe in him. So it is what it is. But we on to next season, man. We on the next season.
And my closing statement for the last episode is a lot of your favorite streamers are fucking frauds. They're view botters. People getting exposed left and right. And Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch, you need to step down or something, dude. Like, I don't know what the fuck you got going on, man, because like I'm seeing a lot of tweets on social media of like different like brands and agencies saying that they don't want to work with streamers anymore. Like they don't buy ad placements from them anymore just because like the numbers are so inflated they can't trust whoever's at the top. And I'm like, yo, Dan, you do realize that's gonna hurt the platforms as a whole. That's why I say, yo, if you stream, don't just stream on Twitch, stream on YouTube, because they fucking the money up over there, bro. Do something about that shit. Get them out of here, bro. Everybody's cheating. Let the real rise to the top. That's all I got for y'all, though. If you made it to this far in the podcast, leave a comment saying, I don't know.
You're a real gamer.
Hashtag, are you a real gamer? Other than that, we appreciate you guys checking out the podcast per usual. Hit the like button as well as the hype button. Rate the show 5 stars, and we'll see you next week on the Game and Illuminati podcast.
Sausage fest is over.
Yeah, the sausage fest is over. Watch, we'll be back. I gotta go walk my dog. He's hitting me, so I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Peace. What's going on, Internet? The Black Okage here, aka TBH. And to be honest, I'd like to welcome everybody back to the Game of the Illuminati podcast. We are the Enlightened Gamers, and you're now tuned into episode 184. If you're watching the video version of the show at youtube.com/GI updates, know this show is available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and all other major podcast platforms. If you're watching on Apple or Spotify, please rate the show 5 stars. And if you're watching on YouTube, after you hit the like button, please hit the hype button. When you hit that hype button, the show will appear on YouTube's new hype charts, which helps bring in new viewers and find the world's best weekly gaming podcast. Hype it up. Also, if you want to follow the podcast on social media, we drop daily content on our pages. We're available on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, and Facebook. Our handle for most platforms is at GI Updates, with the exception being Facebook. It's facebook.com/GI Podcast. Links to all our social media platforms will be in the description box below at youtube.com/GI Updates. Now, without further ado, allow me to introduce you to my co-host. The first of which I'm sure is happy Michigan in the Final Four, so he better contribute at least one point to the conversation. Mr. Ethan, say what up to the people.
Yeah, you're not gonna bring up the Pistons? I see what you tried to do there with the Michigan thing, so that was good. But you ain't gonna bring up the Pistons? Go ahead.
What about the Pistons?
They're the number 1 seed in the Eastern.
You guys have been number 1 for majority of the season. You're not winning anything.
No, we reached the number 1 seed. We weren't the number 1 seed until.
No, you guys were flirting with number 1 and like you would fall out of it. Like you've been there for that area.
Yeah, but I'm saying you are now the number 1.
It doesn't matter.
When it comes to
Cade is hurt. And it's bad too. He had a collapsed lung.
It don't matter.
I know Nomad says I only watch the highlights, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay. I'm rooting for the Pistons, but I don't know, man. I don't know if you've seen what's been going on with Boston. That boy.
You seen them play? Have you seen them play since Cade's been gone?
Yeah, they play good together, but that boy Jason Tatum is back, and he back like he never got hurt. I don't know, man. And Jaylen Brown playing like the MVP. It's looking a little spooky in the East.
No.
Anyways, my second co-host wishes more companies would take a Monster Hunter approach to their games. I have no clue what that means, but I'm sure she'll let us know. It's 5,000 watts.
Hello. I mean, this was about a live service thing. I'm sure we'll talk about it, and then I'll let you know what I mean.
Okay. And last but certainly not least is the man struggling to put together a consistent streaming schedule, but he's still consistently on the podcast. UTX working man the Don. Say what up to the people.
Yeah, I gotta do what I gotta do. You heard me? So we're figuring it out. We'll get it together. But hey, y'all still showing love, so I appreciate that. Especially on the YouTube side. I am very surprised. I've had people literally come in the stream. They're like, yo, I'm glad you on YouTube because I don't like Twitch and all that.
You seeing the light now,
YouTube Premium? Yeah, I'm seeing the light. Nah, they're like legit. It's more people watching on YouTube. So like I said, people start waking up because the numbers are shifting in terms of people finally catching on and people watching more streams on YouTube. So
give it a year. But yeah, that's everybody. So let's go ahead and get into the show. Leading conversation. The Super Mario movie Galaxy, the sequel to the original film, dropped this past week, and a couple of us got to see it. So I thought we'd share our thoughts on the movie, spoiler free, of course, because I know everybody has not seen it. Currently, only me and JG have seen it. Watts says she ain't watching it until it hits Netflix, and I don't know what's going on with Ethos, but
allegedly I'll see it when it allegedly, alleges itself.
Allegedly somebody put it on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it after it had been up for like 5 hours. I was like, damn, this whole movie's still up on Twitter.
People are bold. That's around with Nintendo Yakuza. Yeah.
They sniped it within like 10 minutes. But
Wait, hold on. So they were faster of taking a video down than the U.S. government using their properties?
Correct. Actually, yeah.
Interesting. Okay, you can proceed.
Jay, how are we feeling about Super Mario Galaxy movie?
I think it's a good movie. This is another one of those movies that for some reason, I don't know if it's like some bias or like something that Nintendo did, or maybe just because it's an animated movie, but the critics don't like it. They literally did this with the first Mario movie, and it had me thinking. I remember when the first Mario movie came out, I was like, is this movie really trash? Like, then I went to the theaters because, like, I have kids now, so now I had even more of a reason to go. So I remember I went to the first movie with my daughter, and she just loved it up and down. And when my son was born, he's 2 now, and he loves it. So everybody was excited to go see Galaxy. And I can say definitively, I think it was a good movie. Now, the other controversy is it better than the first one? For Siggy, the numbers guy, the SteamDB watcher, I'm sure he's loving these numbers because it's shattering all types of records, especially for an animated movie. But outside of that, I think that the first movie was a little better, but I can there's still a lot of funny moments. Obviously when we saw Fox McCloud, I don't know, it may be because I went early, but I feel like a lot of people didn't really give that a reaction in my movie theater today. I don't know why, but I was sitting up there like, yeah, like that's my boy. And I like how they made him funny and witty. And I like the little references that he used. So they had a lot of, again, nostalgia in there, as expected. But and I like Bowser Jr. I like how he pulled up. I mean, he little man was about that life. So so I appreciate that. But I feel like overall, like I think a lot of people will enjoy the first one better than the second one, but the second one was no slouch. I think that it was still good, and then without again setting up any spoilers, it was one little tidbit in there that I don't think. I mean, and I'm not super into the Nintendo lore, but my wife and my daughter were speaking. They were like, "Oh, I didn't know that this was," and I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if that was ever established, but it was two characters in the movie that they were like, oh, okay, they're related." So I was like, "All right, well, fine." But I mean, they already set that up in the very beginning, and it was like not really any outside of that. It wasn't really any like real twist in the movie. It's pretty straightforward, to be honest, as far as you can see what happened. But I mean, it's a movie geared towards kids, so I'm not looking for anything super like out there to just throw me for a loop. But I think, again, overall, it's a good movie. I don't know why people are like critiquing this movie so heavily. Maybe because it's a video game movie, and we've seen that video game movies typically, when we were growing up, never did well. But I think since it's Mario and since it's animated this time instead of live action, I think that was the real like trigger to have this franchise and this series so far pretty much go 2 for 2 as far as just revenue. I mean, I don't think Nintendo is sitting up there like, hey, we didn't meet the mark. They beat the mark and some. So I know that they're happy. And I know that longtime Nintendo fans are happy. I don't think that they got a bad product with this one. And it can only get better. They can only continue to expand on this. And I hope that they continue to do so, because I think that pretty much anything Nintendo will throw at anybody, especially in the animated space, will do well. Especially over in Japan, not just over here in the US, but worldwide. It's really killing it. So overall, again, I love the movie. But I'll say my rating until after you give your piece.
So first and foremost, if you're watching the video version, the reason you guys are only staring at an image and no video footage is because Nintendo don't play. I can't play the trailer in the background, so I'm just letting y'all know you're gonna be staring at a picture for this segment. As far as the movie, I actually disagree with JG, so go ahead and check that off that we did disagree.
All right,
what's the name? I don't think it's a good movie. I don't think it's bad either. It's just painfully mid, in my opinion. The first one was definitely better. The reason I say so, I think the biggest culprit with this movie is it has nothing to do with Mario Galaxy. And maybe that's me like nitpicking, but the only thing it really has in common with the Mario Galaxy game is Oh Girl, the Princess, and the fact that it's in space. But Rosalina, yeah. But the fact that it's in space, but I don't think it captured the essence of the games with like him running around on the planets and stuff like that. I think the person-to-person dialogue, there was some funny moments there, but the overall plot was exactly the same as the first one. And I think that's what makes it more disappointing, because I think what a lot of people love about Galaxy is, even though the story is still Save the Princess, it was slightly different. It was pretty much the same thing as the first one. They just swapped out Peach for Rosalina. And I think the biggest culprit too is the fact that she's only like in 5 minutes of the movie. She's like in the very beginning, and she's like at the very end. But other than that, it wasn't a Galaxy movie. I would say it was more of, it wasn't even a Mario movie. It was more of Nintendo the movie. I felt like they spent more time trying to cram in Easter eggs every 5 seconds instead of just making a fun movie. And I think this movie lacked kind of like that definitive scene, kind of like the Peaches scene. I talked about that on Twitter. I feel like every great movie needs like a definitive scene. For like Sinners, it was like that music scene in the middle, or even when he mowed down the clan. I don't think this film has like a definitive scene. It has a definitive performance. Whoever played Bowser Jr., I think he stole the show. He was fucking funny. He was. But everybody else was just kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, I was even disappointed with Fox, and I'm a huge Star Fox fan.
Dang.
I feel like Star Fox is like Nintendo's Sonic. It's like their cool character. And I felt like they tried too hard to make him silly. And I get it, it's like a kid's movie, but they could have found like a balance for him. Like I feel like Fox is supposed to be like that cool motherfucker, and instead they kind of just made him like a Mario and Luigi clone. And then also, what was the point of announcing that Donald Glover was playing Yoshi? Can you tell me, Jay?
Because it's Donald Glover, I
Like,
guess.
I thought maybe he was gonna talk or something, but he was just like, "Yo, she eat the whole movie like the games." I'm like, I could have did that.
I mean,
like,
it's the same thing as like Vin Diesel playing Groot. It's like you wouldn't know unless somebody told you, right?
yeah. So like, it didn't really serve any purpose for me. The ending didn't really do anything for me. Like the two secret endings. Minor spoiler: it's setting up another movie. I don't think these movies are printing money. But it didn't really like move me. I wouldn't say it's terrible. I say it's something to watch. I think Watts was correct. Just wait for it to come to Netflix and watch
My
it.
man's would give real critiques. I didn't know we'd give a real critique. I graded on the scale. I'm on my ace right now. You know, like I'm on Mario shirt on right now. I'm on my ace right now. I'm not going to trash this movie because at the end of the day, it's a kids movie. Like I'm not going to sit up here and be super critical. Yeah, it's not trash at all. And again, you know, I tried to be, you know, a little lighthearted on it, but yeah, I think the first one was better. But again, you know, if you're speaking of, you know, specifically like it being Mario Galaxy, then no. And yeah, if you're speaking about like the overall plot, yeah, it's the same thing. You know, Bowser Jr. wants to get Pops back, and he wants to capture the princess. I mean, it's not deep, and I didn't expect it to be deep. So I get your criticism, but again, it's a kids movie, so I can't be overly critical of this movie. And at the end of the day, it don't matter. It don't matter what we say because Nintendo is making money, the big buck. Yeah, exactly. So I
think if it would have had more than just like straight up laugh out loud moments for me, then I think it would have hit. But I feel like the person to person interactions, they just kind of made me smile and like giggle. Like it didn't really hit for me the same way the first one did. And also, to be fair, even though it is a kids movie, I am going to be a little bit more lenient, but then I also got to give some pushback on that too, because there's a difference between a good and a bad kids movie. Like Finding Nemo is a classic. That recent Ninja Turtles movie was fucking great. The way they represented New York in that one. And like, this is just, it's not a good kids movie. It's a mid kids movie. Like I said, I think it's worth checking out once, but like if you're balling on a budget, especially in this economy with gas going through the roof, do you absolutely need to see this? In my opinion, no. I think you can wait till it hits streaming services. There's some fun to be had here, but maybe because I grew up a Nintendo kid, I am a little bit disappointed. I wanted to see, and I hate to admit this, man. The Sonic movies are better. It pains me to say that as a Mario fan, bro, but like I expect better, man. I expect better. I think Sonic movies, they're good kids movies. In comparison to this, it's just all right. It's just all right.
Ace's tattoo just lit up right now when you said that, so he caught the signal.
And before we move on, and I get your score, another reason I think I'm disappointed with this, if you remember at the beginning of the movie, it said it was primarily produced by Illumination and Shigeru Miyamoto. So like, and it's literally the opening frame. So in my head, I'm like, all right, the person who designed these characters in this story did this. I'm like, is he losing like a step a little bit? I'm like, you just kind of, I think if it would have had more of the essence of the galaxy, then it would have hit a little bit better. But what would you score it though, Jay?
I mean, I give it a middle of the field. I give it a 7. Like, I don't feel like it deserves anything less than that, but it's not, in my opinion, anything that would make me rate it higher than a 7 at this point.
Okay. I gave it a 6. I was like, it was cool. Okay. It's still a pass, but I expect a little bit better. That's all. Maybe the Sonic movie spoiled me or something like that.
All right, man. I sat up there and watched my kids smile. They were like, "What do you think?" My daughter was like, "It was great. I loved it." so like, I can't be like, "Hey, like, Daddy thinks that it's not as good as the first one." She was like,
"I feel that." Kids in the movie theater.
Right. She was like,
"Well, actually,
rage bait them." Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I couldn't do that. She was like, I was like, "Do you like the first one better?" And she was like, I like both of them. So I was like, what can I say? Like, I tried to ask her, she wouldn't give me a straight answer. So we'll see. Maybe she'll change her mind when like it comes on streaming so that she can see it again. But so far, I mean, she just loves it. And, you know, it may just be recency bias. She's like, I just want to see Mario for so long. I've been seeing the commercials. It's out. So I'm going to enjoy it regardless just because I love Mario. But, you know, also she's a kid, so I'm not expecting too much out of her. So we'll see. But
that's good. It's doing what it needed to do, because on the flip side, like I said, this is going to introduce a new generation of Star Fox, so maybe it'll introduce a bunch of fans that we can get a new game. So I'm not going to complain about it either.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our thoughts on what's the name, Mario. Before we get into the news, quick one. Nobody else played it but me, but Super Meat Boy 3D. I uninstalled Crimson Desert, so I decided to move on. I'm playing Super Meat Boy 3D right now, which is the new platformer from the Meat team, which is a crazy studio name. But it's a hardcore platformer. If you are looking for something simple but challenging, I would recommend picking up this game. Reason being is the controls are super tight. It feels really good. The way the character moves. The other thing that surprised me, and maybe because I don't remember the first one, but it's got boss fights at the end of like every world, and they were legitimately like challenging. Like some of this level design is top tier. So if you were looking for something different on the market, I think it's also on the Game Pass. I'm gonna go ahead and recommend this one. It's only $20. I got it on Steam. Super Meat Boy 3D is fire. What it introduces is the 3D element. It's really like 2D.5. Half the game is played on a 2D plane, but then there's certain sections in each level where like you can go inwards or outwards. And it's trying to figure out that and speed run it and like time those jumps. It feels very rewarding, I will say, when you get to those later levels. So for $20, I'm recommending it. I'm enjoying it. I really didn't have any expectations for it, but that's Super Meat Boy 3D. I'm just putting that out there that I recommend it. So let's move on to the news section of the podcast. Let's talk about one of the biggest stories of the week that pissed off a lot of people, and that's The Last of Us Factions Online. You guys remember that game that got canceled 3 years ago in 2023?
Yep.
Time flies. So for those who don't remember, PlayStation was, well, specifically Naughty Dog was putting together a spinoff of the multiplayer factions mode in The Last of Us, and it was supposed to be a spinoff story, and it was going to have like weekly or like monthly updates to the story, new gameplay, multiplayer. A lot of people were super excited about this because the factions is super underrated if you didn't get to play it. I think it was only in the original PS3 version because yes, it's a PS3 game, and then the remaster on the PS4, but the 5 didn't get it. It got canceled in 2023, and we finally got some insight onto why and how it was. And apparently, it was canceled 24 hours before it was going to be revealed. Also, apparently, it was 80% done. And the reason that it was canceled is Sony felt like they couldn't make any money off of it because the production started around the time. It was like mid-production when peak COVID was going on, and everybody was in the house. Everybody was making buku money. Everybody was trying to be a streamer. So when we came out of that and the shot finally came out, Sony was looking like, with the money numbers tapering off, can this game really survive? And like last second, they got cold feet. 24 hours before it was supposed to be fully revealed, the gameplay, they said, fuck it, turn it off. But Concord somehow survived. Ethos, you're a big Factions fan. What's your thoughts on all this?
I hate Sony. I don't think we hate Sony enough. This really was devastating because I already was upset that they canceled it. I think a lot of people who were just like, "Oh, good, don't do a live service game," and da 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 da. Right. It kind of goes into what Watts was saying, which I'll let her give her point about that instead of me saying it. But I really loved Last of Us Factions. As a matter of fact, I think I had over 200 hours on Last of Us Remastered, and that was majority of it was multiplayer. I've even said that I actually enjoyed the multiplayer experience more than the single player story, which I know is
the original Arc Raiders.
Yeah, but and the funny part is when I played Arc Raiders, I even said, I think on the podcast, I was like, this reminds me of Last of Us. Like it feels like a mix of Last of Us's like movement system or like combat engine with a little bit of like Metal Gear Solid 5. So it's really sad to see that. I think it just further angers me that I would have got it if it was early and that it was like very early in progress and they cut it off because like when they first had teased it, they only showed us like a concept art at first. And then I know there was a leak that happened a couple of years after that. I can't remember if it was after it got canceled or not. So we did know that it was being worked on. It wasn't like we just starting on this. Like it seemed like they had been working on it for some time. And I gotta, look, I got to do this. I got to give this to Bungie, man. Bungie, masterful gambit. I just want you to understand. This is my conspiracy. Mm-hmm. I just want you to understand that Bungie, you guys are some real demons. For you to go into another studio that you were then acquired to be to consult for and to tell them that it was trash. Don't do it. Tell them, don't do it, bro. Don't do it. And then they'll come out and find out that this was going to be an extraction style shooter. And just coincidentally, Bungie was making Marathon around the same time this was being. I find that was just insane timing. Now, of course, I'm being a little facetious here. I'm not saying that that's the truth, but I'm saying the timing is very interesting that Bungie was consulting on this project. They didn't say it was trash, but they said effectively that they were like, hey, if you're getting into this, this is what you should consider. And Naughty Dog was like, yeah, that seems like too much. We don't want to take away from us making Last of Us 2.05 times in a row. So instead of us, using money on something else, we're gonna, want to make another single player remaster game. So they cut the cord. So yeah, and apparently this was gonna be like a sort of like extraction style, which I felt like would have been perfect. Like I feel like if any game fits that style, it's literally Last of Us. It's the entire world building, the entire setup is this idea of survival. And even in the original game, you were gathering supplies for your group of survivors for like a meta game. So it did fit all the boxes to be potentially a really good. And I think Sony's just very short-sighted. I think everyone's thinking the same thing. How the hell did you do what you did with Concord, and then in the same breath look at, even from the leaks that I saw, look at Last of Us, which I'd argue, again, Last of Us is already a proven IP. It's already gets you billions of dollars. Clearly, it's making you so much money that you want to just keep pumping out remaster on it and just push it as many platforms as possible. And then you make a movie, and then you got books. It's like you're doing so much for this IP. Why you would cancel that one and still keep going on like a untested brand new one? It's just, things just don't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, I'm frustrated. I'm not happy about this. And even when I saw like even more, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see even more leaks coming soon of people who are like, yeah, I put my heart and soul in this thing, and they're gonna like, I'm gonna leak it, I'm gonna leak what we had.
That dev seemed really hurt. He seemed really hurt about
that.
that.
Yeah, you could tell he cared. It wasn't like Sony's forcing me to make a live service game. Like it was he genuinely wanted to make something really cool. And to what Watts, you can go ahead, but I agree 100% with what you're saying, Watts. Is that I think I'm sick of Sony, and I'm sick of I'm sick of everybody thinking that if you make a multiplayer game, you got to build it to be long-lasting, multiple years live service. I'm sick of that. I really am tired of it.
Yeah. So with what TBH said from my intro in the beginning, it was about this. So the traditional live service model is a game comes out and then it has to last forever. It's got to be the forever game that everyone drops their current forever game and goes to this one. And I was saying, like, the way that Monster Hunter does their cadence of releases, it's why we're like, it's not a live service game because it's not that traditional live service, is that they release the game, they have updates planned for it for a year, and then it kind of goes quiet for a bit, and then they release an expansion, and then that gets supported for another year, and then they go away and they make a new game. Now you could have a format of like, we're supporting it for this amount of time, we go away for a bit, here's a big update, we're going to support it for a bit.